Hey guys, welcome to the Deansy Boy Show podcast. I am your host, Reece Deans, and welcome back to another episode of the Deansy Boy Show. And guys, I hope you've had a good week so far, as much as I have, even though that we've had loads and loads of problems with the WWE being shit and all. But hey, life goes on, we all move on, we gotta hope, fingers crossed, and one day it will all change back to being better, but I doubt it because it's run by Vince McMahon. But anyway, it's all good. I hope you're good. I'm good. I've actually been very busy with university work and working, trying to get some money, so trying to get loads of shit done. You know, it is hard to try and get back to the podcast and do this podcast and just show it to you and entertain you guys. You know, it is difficult, but hey, I'm doing a podcast now and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm like, a minute and 5 seconds into the podcast and just enjoying it basically. Now I got a few things to talk about in this podcast and what's been going on recently. Now I've always been having a discussion with my friends about Raw recently, and after WrestleMania, how much of a disaster it was. I want to talk about one topic, which is Roman Reigns being the new face of the WWE and being WWE champion. I mean, Roman Reigns was on Raw the other night, and the so-called face of the company has delivered another promo that had no strength, no meaning, no enthusiasm whatsoever. I mean, if you look back at some of the WWE Raw episodes, I mean, you can tell like some of the promos have been lacking basically. And I mean, if you go back like to the Ruthless Aggression era and the Attitude era, you know that like majority of the wrestlers like The Rock, Stone Cold, Mankind, Triple H, even though Triple H actually still delivers a good promo to this day. I mean, you get a few wrestlers who deliver fantastic promos, and even John Cena. I know some of you guys are not big John Cena fans as much as I am not a big John Cena fan, but he does deliver some very good promos, and you know, and he's always good on the mic, and he's always good at what he does. You know, he's a very hard worker. He's a workaholic, and I respect that, but I still never liked him because, like Roman Reigns, he was always shoved down our throats, and I just couldn't be dealing with that. But I'm not here to talk about John Cena. It's the fact that Roman Reigns lacks momentum and electricity when it comes to his promos. I mean, he delivered the same promo for the third or fourth time. I don't know how many episodes of Raw we're into, like 3 or 4 episodes after WrestleMania. I mean, he's always delivered the same lines every time, and the lines are simple. I mean, he just always says, "I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a good guy, I'm the guy." When he said it the first time, I thought it was a symbol of saying, okay, he's going into not a face, not a heel, but a tweener, like an in-betweener, but the fans still hate him. I was like booing him right in front of my television. It really got me fed up though, because the fact that he was saying it over and over again in every day, like probably every day or every single Raw episode that's aired on television, he's always saying the same stupid lines all the time, and I'm really getting frustrated to the point where the most recent Raw episode, I had to turn it off when Roman Reigns was on because I just got tired of his bullshit. And you know, and when I look at him, I think you literally have not got a clue what you're doing. I mean Reigns. I mean, I just got really frustrated. That's how I could put it. But Reigns is and has been pushed too early. I mean, I know I'm saying this right now, but he's been pushed too early. It's all of a sudden. I mean, I think he hasn't even developed properly as a professional wrestler. I mean, he's WWE's so-called face, but the fans do not want him, and the man himself could not even handle the fans shouting and howling, and you know, it's a hostile crowd when it comes to true die-hard wrestling fans, especially in North America. And I know the British wrestling fans are die-hard as well, because we had the World of Sports and etc. But when he was doing his first promo, I mean, when he actually first said, "I'm not a bad guy" line, he was getting booed and heckled a lot. That I can even tell he was not really coping in that moment, because I mean he couldn't cope because he had poor mic skills. I mean, he was just looking at the fans and he was thinking. I bet he was thinking to himself, "Oh God, what can I do? I can't do much." And like, he's so slow with his lines. I know he's actually taking it from the script, and I know some of you guys are probably wondering, "Reece, you're talking slow." Yes, I am reading from the script, but it's all my notes. It's all what the things I'm saying. For Roman Reigns, he's not saying what he should be saying. I mean, when you go back to the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era, and probably the 1980s or the early 1990s, I think majority of the wrestlers were given the opportunity to say what they wanted to say. I bet like Hulk Hogan was given the absolute opportunity to say what you want. I mean, I don't even think they actually get some of the writers to come and say, "Oh, say this, Hulk," and then you just go, "Oh, something mean, Gene, I pump up my irons and I say the N-word." Okay, I'm going too far then, but no, I like Hulk Hogan. But the thing is, it's just, I feel like Reigns should not be on the mic all the time. I mean, the way he's presented as a powerhouse wrestler. Now, before I get on to being talking about Reigns being a powerhouse wrestler, I mean, I gotta say that Reigns could not cope and could not handle the hostile crowd. I mean, he may look like he was, but clearly he, some moments where he actually wasn't really thinking, "Oh God, I haven't got them in the palm of my hands." He never had them in the palm of my hand from day one. I mean, if you have a look at when John Cena, now I'm going to go back to John Cena for a minute. John Cena had that at him as well. He had the boos, the heckles, the Cena sucks or F off Cena and all that sort of things. But also, he actually coped really well because he had the mic skills and he understood the fans, majority of the fans basically, and actually put on good matches. I can honestly say he actually did put on 5-star matches, like with CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt. He has put on really good matches. But he understood how the fans could go and kept going and going, and and the similarities between John Cena and Roman Reigns are actually very well high, because they're both booed, heckled, they're shoved down our throats. They're supposed to be the face of the company, and it's I mean I even used to like John Cena before he went all kids Superman and all that sort of thing. Same as Roman Reigns. I used to like him when he was in the Shield. I think everyone did, but it was the fact that he said so little during the Shield. He was just depicted as this monster where he's like, yes, like Dean Ambrose or Seth Rollins will be speaking, and they'll be presenting Reigns as this monster powerhouse man who didn't have to say much. He just had to work. He had to use his talking in the ring, and that's the same as Brock Lesnar. I mean, he said so little in his promos, but he talked in the ring. He used his thinking, his strategy, and what he wanted to prove in the ring, and just let Paul Heyman do the speaking. But when he was with the Shield, I mean, because Roman Reigns wasn't shown to be what he is today, and like you said, it was supposed to be a powerhouse gimmick who didn't say much. But I mean, the thing is about Roman Reigns as well, I don't think he's got much experience as a wrestler. I mean, he was trained by Alpha and Seek at the Wild Samoans, but I mean, that's not the point. I mean, some wrestler could just come in and say, "I was trained by Killer Kowalski," for example, or Stu Hart. They could say that, but they could turn out as poor wrestlers. I mean, there have been many wrestlers who came into the business saying, "Yes, I've been trained by this great legend or this great legend," but at the end of the day, they all turn out to be a bomb, and the thing is about Reigns is that I think he was trained so little, and he did not have much experience as much as Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, who appeared in independent shows and also appeared in like CZW, Ring of Honor, and so on and so forth. Where Roman, like, he was at first at the he had American football experience, and there was no wrestling experience there until he actually went to the development center when it was called Florida Championship Wrestling. Now, I mean, he was just a member of the Onawai family at the time when he was doing American football. And even if you're related and part of a successful wrestling family, sometimes you'll never be a good wrestler. Roman's skills in the ring are dry and short, and they're always the same moves every time. And also, to be a good performer as a wrestler, I mean, you've got to make your own voice. You got to get your voice heard. You got to make yourself well known in the ring. You got to show off what you can do. And the thing is, Roman Reigns is not doing that. He's just basically doing the same moves. He's cocking his hand as if he was like to load his punch and then just do it on the ground. And I'm like, Roman, what you doing? I mean, it's not believable. And the Superman punch is so like I can't even say stiff. I mean, you could see he's just giving him a little tiny touch, giving his opponents a tiny touch of his backhand, and then he's like, oh yeah, and then his spear is just like a big dive to them. It's not a proper spear like Goldberg's or Rhino's or anything like that. I mean, and his voice, I mean, it's got to be sweet with good clarity, and he's just there like, yeah, I'm the guy. Yeah, and I'm like, you're boring as fuck. Yeah. I mean, I started disliking Romans after the Royal Rumble, in which it was when Batista was winning it. When Batista won it, sorry. And because I knew then that they were going to push Roman. They were going to push him to become this new face of the WWE. Because I knew John Cena's time was running short as being the face of the company, and he was going to be pushed down to the mid-card when he was going to be competing for the United States title, which I think was a brilliant decision, because it made the US title important, and it got other mid-carders to get a name for themselves, which I clearly liked. And that's when I started. Now, in all honesty, I'm starting to like John Cena now, because he's actually calmed down. They've calmed him down to a point where, yes, we're just going to use you to develop more talent and to make some more stuff important, which I clearly like. But the thing is with Roman Reigns, he's just not ready at all. I mean, he's just a 2.0 version of John Cena. I think, like everyone else, Roman should turn heel to benefit both story and crowd reaction. Fans are booing him constantly, and he's not worth it to be effaced. Yet here's a wrestler that's only got into the wrestling through FCW, through being part of the Onawai family, but I just don't think he's actually capable enough to. I think he was just pushed too early, because when he was in the development center, he was actually doing well. Some people said he was doing well. I've had a look, and I thought his ring performance was okay. It needed a bit. He needed to learn a bit more. Do I think he should have stayed longer in the development territory, whether it's FCW or NXT? Yes, I think he should have stayed there a little bit longer so he can develop more sense of character, what character he was going to be portraying, or what moves he was actually going to be doing, what proper moves that can actually get the crowd going, oh, wow, this is great, and I mean, he's got to learn his mic skills as well. I mean, that's the whole point of the NXT. Now, if I gotta use an example here. I mean, Baron Corbin. Now, Baron Corbin has just recently been pushed up to the main roster. He's already won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which I thought that was the best choice to use. Have Baron Corbin as the winner, because I wasn't expecting that. Even though the Battle Royal did lack momentum and some big names, but anyway, Baron Corbin was in the NXT for 4 years, and now people are saying he should have gone a push way too early, but I'm glad, because Triple H, actually, I think it was Triple H or William Regal, whoever, or Baron Corbin said it himself, he wasn't very good on the mic, so they kept him there so they can develop him even more with his mic skills and him being a bad guy, and it is actually putting off. I mean, he's beginning a feud with Dolph Ziggler, a crowd favourite, and he's making a name for himself. He's so far undefeated, which I think, I think he'll lose in the future, but he's getting the push that he deserves. Like any other NXT wrestlers are getting the push that they deserve, but it was worth it. The 4 years in NXT was worth it, and it is actually putting off. But with Roman Reigns, he was in it for 2 years. Now, some people say, but 2 years is long, but is it though? I mean, is it really benefiting how Roman Reigns is developed now as the face of the WWE? No, I don't think so, because he's actually poorer than he was than before, and he should have been a lot better, and he should have been developed more as the future face of the WWE. Did it put it off? No, I don't think so. I don't think it actually has put it off. Roman Reigns isn't ready, and he must have a sort of like manager with him to speak for him, and I doubt it's going to happen, because the Vince McMahon is just like, yeah, he's good on the mic. No, he's not. Shut up. No, he's not. I mean, like Brock Lesnar, he's got Paul Heyman with him all the time, delivering the promos to represent what kind of character Brock Lesnar is. He's a monster that does not need to speak. He can speak in the ring, he can speak when he's doing the F5 or Suplex C and all that. I mean, Roman Reigns is and will never be the face of the WWE in the eyes of the WWE fans, the diehard fans, the true fans. I mean, you get kids now saying, "Oh, wow, this is so amazing and everything," but it's just the fact that he's not worth it. He's not good at all, and that's what I feel about Roman Reigns. Now, speaking of fans, another topic I want to bring up is the fact that the WWE has been recently rejecting their own fans for quite some time. I mean, recently, going back to Roman Reigns, he's been booed by the fans, and Kevin Dunn, the executive producer or vice president, wherever the fuck he is, Vince's bitch, basically, decides to say to his crew and the sound engineer to make the boos, to take the boos, and turn them into cheers. Why would they have the audacity to make the fans who pay good money to come to the shows and have the rights to cheer and boo whatever wrestler they feel like they deserve that needs to have the boo or the cheers? I mean, it's just insulting the fans. It does not work. You can't change the fans' perspectives. You cannot, make them puppets. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to listen to what they want. I mean, what they want is probably the most stupid thing ever, and the fans want something that's better, that's actually worth their monies. If you go back to WrestleMania 32 with the giant screens over the wrestling ring, right? There were shots and screens of chants, like words for the fans to chant for. I mean, that was plain stupid. I mean, you can't force the fans to chant whenever you feel like it. That does not work. You can't go to. It's like you go to a football match, soccer for the American fans who are listening to this now, the football fans, and say, you chant for this player or you chant for this team now, or you can't do that. That's like slapping God across the face for a gorgeous gift. You just can't do that. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's the things about wrestling. You get your good guys, then you get your bad guys, then you get in the middle people. I mean, it's common knowledge. And you can't just tell them to sing whenever they want. It's never going to work, and it's like probably depicting the WWE like they're Nazis. You get Kevin Dunn as Joseph Goebbels and Vince McMahon as Adolf Hitler. I mean, you're demanding the people who do this, and that is not how you run a business. Wrestling fans are the key to success. They are given money that they worked for in their part-time or full-time jobs, and they pay for not just for the tickets to just see the shows, but the merchandise, the tours, the WWE network, food and water. It's just absolutely ludicrous and absolutely disrespectful to the fans for hard-working people. Now, the WWE should actually consider in giving back the fans, not just through wrestling, but human beings, like human beings as well, the dignity they do deserve. I mean, having the right to chant, shout, and say what they want. I mean, that's just the point of wrestling. It's just like watching Walking Dead, and you're like booing like the governor or Negan, the new villain for Walking Dead, or you're cheering for Rick or Dowell. You know, everyone's got their favorites. I mean, to say what they want. I mean, it's just not asking much, is it? You know, I mean, they're just fans at the end of the day. They got pride and passion. They are the heart of professional wrestling. I mean, why let them do that? Instead of forcing them to be quiet and removing signs or even themselves from the building. Again, that's just an insult. Personally, I mean, if I'd done that, I'd probably sue the company. If I can try, I'd probably sue them. Say, no, I mean, I came here, I paid good money. I'm going to say what I want to say. I mean, fuck it, being a kid show. I mean, you get your good guys, you get your bad guys, and the fans, they cheer or boo whoever they want to do it at. I mean, the WWE do need to think about this. What if every single fan stopped watching or spending money on the company? Imagine that though for a second. Around the world, all the WWE fans just stop watching it because the WWE have gone too far. They're pushing the limits. They don't care about the fans anymore. Imagine they just stopped it. Right? The result would be bon voyage to WWE. Stock market will go down. Profits will go down. Everything will go down. And then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh fuck, we fucked it up. You know, it would be because the fans would just go and watch TNA, maybe, Ring of Honor, Combat Zone Wrestling, or other promotion, any local promotion. But it's just never going to happen. I know the WWE are a big successful company and they've got so much of a big fan base, so I know it's not going to happen. But if it did, that's what probably would happen. I mean, but the WWE must consider in actually showing respect and let the fans have fun, you know, and just give them what they want, just entertain them. That's what I thought. That's what Vince McMahon was saying. I know I don't like using the word sports entertainment, but that's what basically is. It's entertaining the fans in it. I mean, if I was running a wrestling company, I'll let them say what they want to say. You know, I mean, just look at ECW and WCW. I mean, like ECW's fans were hostile. I mean, the Dudley Boys, they actually pushed the limits, but at the end of the day, even though they hated them, they still loved them because they admired what the Dudley Boys were doing. I mean, it's just, look at NXT. NXT is a proper wrestling show. It's only on for an hour or two, but they tell good stories. They put on very good wrestling, and the fans love it. I mean, just have a look at NXT Dallas. They actually let the WWE or NXT know how they feel. Like when Samoa Joe was busted open, he was bleeding, and they had to stop the match 5 times, and the fans were chanting "fuck PG," and you know, and they were chanting "this is awesome," and they were paying good money. I mean, it was just fantastic. I mean, it's not hard for the WWE to have the decency to just show the fans some respect and show them gratitude and actually thanking them for actually turning up, giving them money and being there since day one. I mean, the fans would return the favour by giving them what they want, and everybody's happy. What's the problem about that, WWE? I mean, what is the problem with just giving them what they want, and they will return what you want? Simple as. I mean, I got a dry throat here. I gotta have a drink. It is actually effort. It's probably effort. Right. Now, sorry if I had to stop there for a drink. I was actually a bit parched then. Now, I've actually have this one topic I really want to discuss. I've been debating about this through so many people, and some people don't see this from where I'm coming from. Now, I'm nearly 20 years old. I've been watching wrestling since I was like 3 or 4 years old. I mean, I grew up watching the Attitude Era, or just the post-Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression. You know, I was growing up, or I was born during the time when the Attitude Era was starting. So The subject is, this is the title now, kids, 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 it's all about the kids. Does anyone think that the kids is always the focus on WWE's product? On the product of WWE. Now, think about this for a minute. Do they actually make WWE money? Now, if before you say yes, they do, they attract the attention, everything like that. Just think about this now. Do they earn the money? Do they actually work for a living to earn the money, then have to pay for these live shows, merchandise, etc.? Do they do that? I'm not being prejudiced against the kids. I love kids, I got a 7-year-old sister who loves wrestling. I'm the one who actually showed her wrestling and introduced it to her. It's just, I'm not just saying to say, how can a show like WWE be a kids show or even a family show consisting on grown men and women who are just beating each other up? Now, think about this. Think about two wrestlers in the ring. They're punching each other, kicking each other, slamming each other. Do you think the kids are actually going to be like, oh, this is brilliant? What are they going to do when they go home? They're going to do the same. But it's, unless they actually kill someone or something like that, do you think it's all about the kids? That's what I'm just saying. It's just like beating each other up. But where does the adult moments come in? Seriously now, it's not just the kids that watch it, and whenever the stories involve a situation that mothers with kids complain because it was violent or inappropriate, the fuck, it's wrestling! What do you expect in a wrestling ring? They can't insist to come down to the arena and just tone down the violence because it wouldn't be wrestling at the end of the day. It's just like saying to the rugby players not to tackle and try and get the ball. Because it's too dangerous. That's rugby. Shit happens. Wrestling. Shit happens. That's what it is. It always has been. I think the mothers need to realise, hold on, this is wrestling. This is what they do. It's violence at the end of the day. If you don't like it, don't go and watch the events, or don't watch it on television. Why? So why are they complaining? So it's just their fault for letting the kids watching them, and if the kids like them, they like them. At the end of the day, so fuck you, mothers. You can't win at the end of the day. The thing is as well, like I'm saying about the adult moments, adult themes. Not go back to Attitude Era style and just show the sex, the proper extreme violence. Give some moments where the adults might like, just give them what they want to come here for, pay their good monies. It's just how would you show conflict in wrestling and the drama in wrestling and increase and gain the attention? Verbal communication does not always give a good story, but body language is always, it's actually the key point in wrestling, because just look at them, they're wrestling. That's what WWE, or what they try to do now, create story through body language and some drama. You could say it's like soap opera, but you gotta, not just the kids, but you gotta interact the adults as well. Otherwise, you're just gonna be wondering, well, what have I paid to come on? I paid good money to watch this, and all I get is bullshit like this. Some of the WWE storylines have been completely stupid. It's just, there should be some elements for both children and adults to watch, making it 50-50 for all ages. The material in WWE now is ludicrous and directed at the kids. But the fact is, why does everything rely on the youth for the WWE, which is in fact the adults that spend the money? Now, I'm not saying I'm not being rude to kids. This is my opinion. If you got an opinion, just leave a comment below and see what you think. I will respect that, because I will always still like wrestling. I will always let my little sister watch wrestling. Everyone's a winner. I don't care. It's just what I feel. This is what I feel and what my opinion is. Just to make it both. They say it's not right for kids to learn bad stuff, like bad language, sexual themes, and that, but they will learn it one day in the future. and also finding out about wrestlers' past, etc. I mean, when I was growing up, I was watching the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression Era, like I just said. Now, if some of you fans never heard of those eras, then clearly there's something wrong. The material back then was surrounded around the adult-themed world. It never affected me at all, and I wasn't like drawn into its graphic depictions. I wasn't like gonna go out and just see if I can shag someone or like gonna swear at something. I behaved okay. I mean, it wasn't all bad stuff or bad news or anything like that. I mean, it's something to consider. I'm not saying that WWE should stop having it being like surrounded by the kids show or just like. I mean, it's just the way I see it. It's just getting too kid friendly. It's all getting too strict. It's all saying you gotta think about the kids. Gotta think about the kids. I'm like, well, what about the adults? I think the WWE is too focused on the adults, on the kids, sorry, and not much on the adults. Just draw the line somewhere, 50-50. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, that's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, wrestling is not just a kids show at the end of the day, so I must have used kids on my notes around about like 500 times because that's what it is. It always has been. I mean, I get so frustrated that the WWE is just getting too political correctness or all that shit, kind of bull. Now, some of you who've not, some of you do not know, but again, like the last podcast, I have to end this on a sad note. Now, recently, the wrestling world has lost a truly gifted female wrestler. The ninth wonder of the world, Chyna, has sadly passed away on April the 20th, 2016. Now, she was 45 years old. And I remember growing up watching her. She was a brilliant, talented female wrestler. She single-handedly defined what a woman can do and should do in wrestling. She also proved to the men that women can work in a man's world by competing in men's competition. I mean, she was the first woman to win the Intercontinental title. She could have been the first woman to win the WWE Championship. She was the first female to take part in the Royal Rumble and became the women's champion at WrestleMania 17. Now, she has left so much success in wrestling history. I think no one, neither will I, you, your friends, your family, will ever forget what Chyna has done for the WWE, TNA, whatever, for the wrestling company. I mean, she was part of DX. She was, the all-time greatest women's wrestler. I mean, she's up there in one of the very best, like the Fabulous Moolah, Lita, Trish Stratus. She's up there. She's up there with the best, and there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. She does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Why was she not inducted into the Hall of Fame way before then? I do not know, but she should have been. I mean, I know Triple H has come out on the Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast and saying, I don't want kids Googling to find out what she is. People are going to find out one way or the other, Triple H. They're going to find out one way. Kids are going to grow up to learn adult life. That is a fact. And that's what I was going to point out in the kids discussion of the show. But it's not about that. It's about Chyna. What she done for the company of WWE will never be forgotten. I will never forget it. I mean, she was strong, quick, fast. I mean, she was unstoppable. She was brilliant. She was an entertainer. She was a female wrestler, and she deserves to be in a Hall of Fame, and she deserves the credit she should have been given. And even though she had problems in the background, everyone's got problems. We've all had problems. We can all relate to that. I mean, it's just like like any female wrestlers who've had problems, like Chyna. She went through loads, but we still love her. We still loved her as probably as a wrestler, as a person. Everyone is a big fan of Chyna, and she is still loved by many, many, many wrestling fans. And I just like to say, just to conclude this podcast show, Chyna, may you rest in peace, and thank you for what you've done for wrestling and for us. Thank you.